Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new edition of Message of Hope. And today, directly from British Columbia, we have the pleasure to have Rick Ruppenthal, who is a coach, a retired paramedic, and now a coach. So, welcome, Rick.
Thank you, Martina. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Well, thank you for saying yes to this. And I will ask you the infamous question.
Yes.
And is all this having this understanding? How
Mhm.
does that help you navigate events, circumstances, whatever shows up in your life?
Well, the deeper I explore this understanding, um, I I realize more and more how it is my life. It's all my life. I used to have this thing, the concept of work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
And the struggles that we have with work-life balance, um, and then all the other techniques and various other things that people come up with creating a work-life balance. I started to realize with this understanding that that's all my life, everything, right? And stop trying to balance it. Just and so part of that was um, understanding that because it was all my life, and that I have a way of seeing it that way, it empowered me to forget about the balancing, which was where the frustrations and struggling was coming from. And um, and one of the things that was really grounded in me was understanding that those frustrations and feelings were an indication of the kind of thinking that was going on in the moment. And when I really started to get in touch with, okay, what are those feelings and what they were saying, not what they were meaning, but what kind of they were pointing towards to me, um, I was able to kind of relax, get more clarity. And from that clarity, then I kind of knew what was the most important thing to do. What was the next step? And it was interesting to note that, in reflection, because I never see it up front. It's always sort of like in the reflection piece, right? It's sort of like, hey, how did that ever happen, right? It's like the ostrich pulling its head out of the sand, kind of a thing, looking around, and it's like, how did that all change? Um, and it's that, man, I got balance. Like things started to fall into place more naturally, as opposed to me trying to force it, which was, it turned out to be the cause. I was trying to control my circumstances to make it
Mm.
more comfortable, and realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. This is all on me. It has nothing to do with what's going on. That's when balance started to happen. So it was very, very cool. Less stressful, I guess. And I was really surprised how much more productive I was.
Mm.
Yeah. Like that was, for me, that was kind of like a spin-off, you know, because I'm a bit of I have this kind of squirrel attitude sometimes. About oh, look, there's a squirrel. Like, I'm a curious guy. I love exploring new things or seeing new things, I call myself a creative type. Another term that I came across, and these are all labels, but just to kind of describe me, not necessarily define me, but was the term multipotentialite. Have you ever heard that?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So Da Vinci was a multi-potentialite. A lot of these Renaissance artists and creatives were multi-potential because they were interested in so many different things. And that was me. And I started to realize that was where I was seeing a lot of the disconnect and frustration with this whole life balance thing. And when I started with the three principles about a couple of years ago, um, and started exploring and getting deeper, I started to look towards what was driving that, and started to relax more about, oh, I need, instead of the, I need to look at that. And it's like, oh, that's, um, I felt it was more guided then. So when the curiosity came up, it felt different. And when I took a step towards it, it just felt more natural. And from that naturalness and the clarity of knowing that that was the right step to do, things got done. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it was an interesting process. It was a very interesting process. And of course I continue to keep exploring that, because I want to, it's almost like I want to keep testing it. It's sort of like, this stuff does work, right? Kind of a thing. It's like, but every once in a while it still surprises me. Right? It still surprises me. When I stay, one of my phrases I like to use is saying yes to life.
Yes.
Right. When life presents you with something, say yes. Right. And I had that kind of attitude in paramedicine. Because I had a bit of an understanding prior to coming across Sid Banks's work, and where I kind of was disconnected from my circumstances, and I noticed that a lot of people were having different experiences about the work. I took it as a calling. That's how I interpreted it. That's how I saw it, and others were not seeing it the same way. And I was curious about that. And so, and when the Missing Link came out, and I read that, and I said, oh, okay, so this is where the disconnect is, right? We live in a thought created world, and everybody's living a separate reality. And my reality is not necessarily the truth. It's the truth for me.
Yeah. It looks really true too.
And it will. Oh yeah. Oh, you're to the point where, come on, why are you not seeing it my way?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many places that this is actually touched, and to see how it works and the blessings that come out of it, through that understanding, and the miracles. I tell my clients, expect a miracle, because it looks that way. Because even though the world has not changed in front of you, everything starts to look so different. It is so different, so vibrant. I love recreating stories, knowing that I have that power. And I was sharing this recently with another group about, if I had a theme song right now, it would be, I can't help falling in love with everything, with people, with experiences, with life, happening, kind of a thing, regardless of what the circumstances are. Right. I know that I'm always being taken care of, and I get to relax, and I keep falling in love.
Should be a warning, 3 principles. warning.
Yeah. Caution. But yeah, no, and I love the way Dickon explains it too, because we there's a reason why we fall back into it. It's because we are love. And when we really truly understand that, and we respond from that level of understanding, you can't get it wrong. You can't. And so, I'm coming up with a new term, and this is going to be the public broadcast of it. Funkmaster.
Huh? More polite than what Michael Neal will have said. Yeah.
Yes. Right. You know, it's sort of like when I become, you know, a funk master in practicing, okay, you know, when I know my funk, when I'm in a low funk, right, I know that's not the best place to make really important decisions. But it doesn't take me forever to get out of it. First step is to know that I'm in it, right? And then allow it to release its energy or whatever it needs to do. And in the moment, wisdom will guide me into what would be the step for me to take. Right? Sometimes it's a deep breath. Sometimes it's a distraction. It takes various forms, like, and that's what I love about the principles, is that there isn't a right technique. It's just listening from a quieter place for whatever that nudge happens to be. So yeah, I don't know if this is answering the question or not.
Beautifully. And as I would like you also to take a few minutes to talk about your beautiful project.
The Unbroken Hero Project.
Yes.
Thank you for asking. This project started, I was in a Three Principles conference. I was listening to it. I wasn't participating. And all the beautiful shares that were going on, all the different people were talking about where they were taking the principles understanding into their workplaces, into prisons, into all these different fields. And again, from a very quiet place, a voice kind of spoke to me, and it just said Unbroken Hero Project. And because I, you know, as much as I, you know, I've been away from being a paramedic, you know, retired, my heart is still there. There probably isn't a day I go by where I don't have a memory pop up about it, right? Some people will, you know, consider them triggers or various other things, because post-traumatic stress and anxiety and depression are heavy in that department. In BC, British Columbia, we had the highest suicide rate of responders in the country.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, which was really surprising. You know, it's like beautiful BC. You know, it's like
I would have thought Toronto or something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Toronto, big centers. Like they're both big services, right? But I just knew that we could do something better, right? And with the understanding and sharing that understanding, with responders that were having troubles and sort of stuck and up against the wall and could see no way out, and were in very hopeless states. I noticed that just in that sharing and allowing them an ear, like just to hear their story, was almost just enough to bring them back to earth, bring them back to sort of a reality of okay, so I'm not broken. And so many, Martina, this is the thing that really blew my mind. Like a lot of them, I'd say all of them, were in therapy of some sort. And I'm not knocking therapy, because I know it has its purpose and they mean very well. But they all come from the base of there's something wrong with you. You are damaged in some way, like you're even brain damaged, right? In some cases. And I remember talking to one gentleman, and I said, look, you know, I do things a little differently. We come up from a different place. I said, first of all, when I'm coaching you, you're not broken, right? We start there, right? And he said, nobody's ever told me that. you know, and he's been in therapy for 4 years, and nobody ever told him that he wasn't broken. And it was like, oh, sorry, I was going to swear.
No, no, it's okay. I Quebecer, we're used to that.
Yeah, but can I say pardon my French? But but it's like, anyways, it brought me to tears, and it brought me, you know, to a point where, you know, it's sort of like, yeah, this work needs to be shared. And, you know, it's slow, and I'm going at the pace that it's providing me, right? I mean, and realizing again, you know, through the understanding that any of the frustrations, or, oh, I wish this would go faster, or, you know, see more people, it's like, no, just keep doing what you're doing. It'll all fall into place. As long as I keep coming from a point of clarity, right? Answers, explorations, opportunities, nudges, doors, they open, and I continue to say yes. And when you and you're part of that, you were part of that door, right? You reached out and you said, hey, you know, what do you think about? Yes, of course. Of course.
Beautiful. And if people want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, just go to you can Google Rick Ruppenthal, and there's all sorts of interesting stuff that shows up. So you get to explore that. But, you know, I'm on Facebook. You'll find me on Instagram with the Unbroken Hero Project. I have a couple of websites.
So if for the Unbroken Hero, so it's on Instagram?
Yes.
So it's called Unbroken Hero on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And
for the 4-hat coaching, that's your main?
4 Hats Coaching is my website.
Okay.
And I'm revamping a few programs right now. I'm going to be doing some testing on what I'm calling a mini intensives. The working title is what is my word? Get on with it.
Yeah, it says what it says. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I'm very reachable and very able, very responsive. So you reach out any which way you do or can, and I'm very quick to get back to anybody. Any questions? I'd love to hear comments and help people explore.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rick, for your time, for your wisdom. And I will wish you the best of luck in your project.
Thank you very much. All the best to you.
Cheers.